Now I would like to introduce Dr. Ahmad Elshennawy, who will be presenting Quality 4.0 and Higher Education. Dr. Ahmed has many specialties, including quality management, reliability, safety engineering, Six Sigma quality, quality improvement tools, organizational performance, manufacturing systems and engineering, and total quality management.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It depends on when you are. My name is Ahmad Elshennawy, a professor of industrial engineering at the University of Central Florida. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen here. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to talk mainly about here quality 4.0 and higher education, and specifically we're going to present a framework for assessing the maturity level of implementing quality 4.0 in higher education. This is a presentation of the UCF Quality Institute. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Quality Institute in a few minutes. The contributions to this presentation is from Dr. Al-Zahrani, Dr. Bahaytham, Mr. Thomas Jones, and myself. This is one of the activities that the Quality Institute, UCF Quality Institute is doing. Let me jump to the content. So I'm going to talk today about introduction, mainly what is Quality 4.0, the technologies of Quality 4.0 and how much we know about it. I'm going to introduce the LNS research, talking about the dimensions and the components of how to make it happen. To jump into how to implement the Quality 4.0 in higher education, we're going to start with some systematic literature review. We're going to talk about the strategy and how we've done that, and then we'll talk about the presentation or the framework that we have came up with a case study for its implementation. Talking about the UCF Quality Institute, that's in a research lab mainly at the University of Central Florida. Our mission here is to provide interdisciplinary research to the community and to other departments, different array of different subjects are included, which is quality engineering, Six Sigma, quality assurance, quality activities throughout the university and the community. And I'm trying to also get some collaboration worldwide. So if you have seen or you are seeing this now, I will be very open to contribute to develop some collaborations and our activities on our behalf. There is a lot of students currently developing their research, either thesis or dissertations, mainly dissertations at this point, that contribute to the success of the UCF Quality Institute. Our goals are, we have 4 goals of the Quality Institute so far. We have collaborative research, reaching out to the community and industry around the Central Florida community to develop partnerships for research. That includes Lockheed Martin, Siemens, NASA, and so on. We also provide service to the communities, education and training. In terms of education, we have a lot of programs and higher education here at UCF that are offered either through quality courses. We have a lot of quality courses that we offer. We also, as an institute or as a service to the community and our students, we provide a formal coursework at UCF, and the result of this coursework, when the students finish the coursework, successfully finish a project, and pass a green belt exam, we simply do certify these students with a green belt, so they have a better future whenever they would like to go to
Excuse
industry
me.
to practice Six Sigma
Sorry to
Institute.
interrupt. Could you please go to presentation mode?
Is it presentation? It's not presentation?
It's not in presentation mode. I'm looking at slide 3,
Yes, slide 3.
but it's not in presentation mode. I can toolbar above.
How to do that? Let me,
Probably slideshow. I only know how to do it in German, but I'm thinking if you go to the toolbar above, File, Home, Insert, Design, on the towards the right side is slideshow.
oh, slideshow. Oh, okay. All right. I got you. Presentation mode. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but let me get this bar out of here. Talking about this. I'm sorry about that.
Correct. Yes. Okay. Now
Yes,
it's much
okay.
easier to see. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry about that. So this is what continuing talking about the Quality Institute at UCF and how we basically educate, train, and graduate quality professionals for the Central Florida community, for the state of Florida, and for the world. Alumni of the Institute include so many very successful professionals, people, educators, all around the world, and we are very glad to continue to do this. So talking about quality 4.0, this is what is quality first. So we'll start by, there is a team working with us at the Institute, team of students basically, and some alumni as well. Some of those work in different aspects. Yesterday, for example, there was one of the members graduated with a PhD, and his dissertation was simply combining the Six Sigma practices with cost engineering to come up with an efficient model for performance excellence in any organization. So talking about what quality is, conformance to requirements, and that's basically what we like as a definition for quality. Of course, there are some fitness for use by Joseph Duran, predictable degree of uniformity, dependability at low cost by Deming, and other definitions. Everybody can come up with their own definition to quality, but we use mostly conformance to requirements, conformance to specifications by Philip Crosby. Philip Crosby is probably, he is right next door. He's from Winter Park, Florida, which is, he passed away, and before he passed away, he used to come to UCF and educate our students, undergraduate and graduate, on the systems of quality assurance, quality engineering, and how he can come up with doing service to the community. And we got his work on that. So quality 4.0 is a subset of industry 4.0. When we talk about industry 4.0 or industrial revolution 4.0, we talk about the digital transformation. There is a lot of technologies here. So basically the technology that industry 4.0, and I'm going to go through these in a few minutes. We took those and tried to implement those in quality 4.0 and how to improve performance, either quality performance, organizational performance, or educational performance when we talk about quality 4.0 education now. So basically when we talk about quality 4.0, we talk about a strategy, how to use the digital transformation technologies from industry 4.0 in any organization, how to translate those to basically enhance the ability to achieve the goals, stated goals. In my presentation right now, we are looking forward in how to use the concepts or attributes of quality 4.0 to improve education. And we are going to, this is a, you're probably familiar with this. This is a book by Radswell. She wrote a good book collecting a lot of information, connected, intelligent, automated, the definitive guide to digital transformation in quality 4.0. She talked about, I'm quoting here, quality 4.0 is the application of industry 4.0 technologies on data flow technologies to improve the flow and use of data to allow organizations to better utilize resources both people and equipment in the pursuit of improved performance. And that's the bottleneck of quality 4.0. So it's all about data collection. It's all about data analysis and data, and all about automation. So how to improve the quality performance using quality 4.0? We use basically the different digital transformation technologies. We borrowed those from industry 4.0 and how to do this collectively and arriving to the objectives. We collect data for continuous monitoring. As examples right now, and quality is visual inspections. We can use cameras, can use robots, can use machine learning and other sensors in data. Use Internet of Things to monitor the data. There is also using equipment and using processes. The equipment, basically examples, smart robots, smart machines, self-adjusting computer and medical control machines now that you can just program the machine and go, and the smart machine will do everything that you want. That's Industry 4.0. And at the same time, we use that concept for quality 4.0. Simulation-based data flow analysis and design, augmented reality, visual augmentation, all these technologies when we talk about quality 4.0 and how the solution will look like from quality 4.0. But why quality 4.0? My friend Jim Harrington gave us a little bit of a piece of information here that 95% of CEOs he knows, the most recent decade has seen development, has seen development in connectivity, mobility, analytics, scalability, and data spawning what has been called the fourth industrial revolution for Industry 4.0. We also came up to use 4.0, quality 4.0, because of the digitization, the digital transformation, the improved innovation in processes and in products, improving supply chain and manufacturing efficiency. We have seen during the pandemic how the things, excuse me, how the supply chain has been dramatically affected by the pandemic. So coming up to this, there is a lot of research, the post-pandemic research in how to use the lessons learned into improving the performance, organization performance, including supply chain for the organizations themselves. So it's all about three things: people, process, and technology. So these are the three dimensions, basically. The framework I'm going to present is basically based on the LNS research. So just to give them a credit for that. So they classified all components of quality tools into three different dimensions: people dimension, technology, and process. So it's been basically, it's all about learning. It's all about technology. It's not just the journey of quality 4.0. It's about using people, technology, and process, but using all of those to enable the innovation, to enable the new insights, with the connectivity between people and machines and so on. So it's not really a story about technology. It is about how that technology improves the culture of collaboration, competency, and leadership. So quality 4.0 is basically aligning the basic knowledge of what we know and quality management, maybe traditional performance improvement tools of quality management, and then marrying those to the technologies or efficiencies that we have realized from Industry 4.0 to come up with high performance, innovative business models. So it is people, technology, and processes. These are the three dimensions. We're gonna elaborate on those and developing our models. So basically, is it technology? Is it a process or technology? What comes first? Many companies try to apply technology first, but one of our members of the institute came up, coded Bill Gates, and that's the first rule: any technology used in business, that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency. The second is that automation applied to inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. And that's basically what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to use the technology to improve, and how with the solution, with basic data collection, data analysis, automation, and improved quality performance. And that's what basically all Quality 4.0 is all about. Quality 4.0 is basically using data and automation to come up with more efficient processes. We have very good tools, efficient tools in quality management, and then we marry those tools to the digital transformation tools of Industry 4.0 to come up with a very efficient data collection, data analysis, automation, and at the end, and improve the product, improve the process for the best of everybody. So that's basically what Quality 4.0 is, and I explained that already. So, and there is a code here at the end. This Quality 4.0 is closely aligning quality management with new technologies, Internet of Things, machine learning, sensors, and so on. It's the objective basically to arrive into more efficient operational excellence, innovation, and business model. And that's what we're going to use basically here. So 11 axes of Quality 4.0 with the 3 dimensions. These are from LNS research. We took those and built on this knowledge a good framework that companies will basically use to improve. Higher education institutions basically will take lessons learned and practices, best practices from us or from this model. The people dimension, they have leadership, competency, collaboration, process dimension. We have also management system, compliance, and culture, and then technology dimensions with data, analytics, connectivity, app development, and scalability. We're going to explore how higher education institutions basically have been using or unusing any of those. I put here some information about all of the 3 components of the people dimension, which is again leadership. 15% of companies say the quality is priority on top management, and some of them do not advocate what they're saying. 21% of the market basically is adopted or has adopted to EQMS, the focus quality to execute, often through collaboration. And regarding to the competency 4.0, Quality 4.0 facilitates a movement toward improvement. The second dimension is the process management system, basically harmonize the process, a smooth flow of data and integration through innovation and productivity, compliance of data, opportunities to automate the compliance and deliver high quality product or process, and of course, culture, the improved connectivity and visibility inside. The third dimension is technology. So again, what comes first, process or technology? So it has data-driven decision-making process, which is the most efficient way to make decisions. Big data using analytics, quality analysis, quality defined objectives, and then Industry 4.0 simply to enable the connectivity and inexpensive sensors and use machine learning techniques, and as well as automation, autonomous equipment. Cloud computing is very important in that case because of the large amount of data. So we need somehow some space to come up with doing what we need to do in terms of improve. So we took that. This is the strategy now. So the bottom-up approach we've selected. So identify the technology, and then we develop a process to capture this technology. And we also arrive to how to architect the infrastructure of the data. So that's what I'm going to present now. So this was introduction. It was a long introduction, but again, education is our opportunity. Higher education basically is higher opportunity. talking about this webinar here is quality in higher education institutes. So we did look at the higher education as an opportunity to improve for higher education institute. And we basically used the 4.0 technologies. Are they appropriate? To answer these questions, basically to come up with this framework. So basically we did, or we have to do a systematic literature review to come up with all this. So the systematic literature review is simply to understand the current practices of quality, any of those that exist as related to each quality component, process, technology, and people. So we did a very thorough systematic literature review. The leader with that was Dr. Al-Zarani. And then we determined where the components are related to quality 4.0 has evolved. We developed initial model development, and then we had a framework implementation. We got a case study for implementing that. This is what the Prisma here for systematic literature review came up with 1,272 records through basically filtering and screening and eligibility. We came up with 110 after exclusion of repeated factors and so on. So this is where the data came from different databases at the University Library here at UCF. So we got all those, total $1,272, and our basically studies that includes 110 that basically was very useful. The year of publication mostly from 2017 on, some from 2019 and 2020. A lot of articles in those, and this is literature review simply here with the how to come up with literature review. Higher education institutions, for example, regarding data, they have nearly a large volume of data exists in higher education institutions. Not sufficient evidence when we talk about analytics that they have investigate machine learning and other Internet of Things, artificial intelligence and their processes, connectivity. I don't want to, if I go through all these, I'm going to run out of time. So, but collaboration, for example, they have some elements currently adopted. In higher education institutions, they use web clients, they use some browsers for agnostic applications, mobile apps, and so on, scalability as well. And then talking about, by the way, these are the components of the quality 4.0. They called axes or components: data, analytics, connectivity, collaboration, app development, scalability, management system, compliance, culture, leadership, and competency. I explained those briefly when I talked about the 3 dimensions of quality 4.0. So the 3 dimensions of quality 4.0, including the 11 axes or 11 components. And we took those into consideration when we came up with our systematic literature review. So we have found all these findings from the literature review of a thorough examination of the 110 records of interest that will basically provide knowledge to us. The HEIs, which are higher education institutions, utilization of custom code and configurable information system, they have been using that. Some of the culture effects regarding culture component already identified. No quality leaders still sees equality as the quality only as a department. No sufficient evidence investigating the leaders of quality and how they did basically examine the cross-sectional information flow within the higher education institutions. Higher education institutions also use traditional activities to promote training programs. And but what follows now is how we found out, so this is, for example, the component of data access in higher education institution, and how these components of data and elements of these components of data would basically affect the performance. So big data refers to the large diverse sets of information. And regarding analytics, we have also different types of analytics and how they have been used in higher education institutions. Regarding here, higher education institutions, learning analytics, academic, educational, and data mining. We found out that they have been used. These are three important ways to analyze data in higher education institutions. Some have used in a very small scale. Others have been used on a larger scale. Others have not been used at all. So this is our observations from the case study that we're going to present. Connectivity, same thing. So we do the different elements in the connectivity, for example, and how to explain that and how it is implemented in higher education institutions. These are the findings that we came up with regarding connectivity, regarding collaboration. These are the different elements of collaboration and how these elements of collaboration have been used basically in higher education institutions with different sources. These are the authors here. I am not going to go through each one of those because it's going to take a lot of time. So higher app development, the same thing in higher education institutions with reference to, of course, the source of the articles that or the author that basically combine
5
this
minutes.
research. And we're moving on, scalability, the same thing in higher education institutions, management system. All these 11 axes or 11 components have been thoroughly examined in our literature review or systematic literature review. Here's culture and leadership, and finally the competency. We examined all these and how all these are in the higher education institution implementation. Found out that the review, systematic literature review, which basically we aimed at to explore the applicability of quality 4.0 in higher education institutions, which is a subject basically of our framework development. The use of traditional quality tools and IT service have been gradually replaced with some technological advances, and we have seen that. At UCF, for example, we use a lot of automation in our instructional activities, training, and education, and so on, a lot of those. So quality 4.0 is a traditional quality with industry 4.0 technology, and I explained that. LNS research defined 11 components that I've just talked about with 3 dimensions contained within 3 dimensions. So there is a need for research, but there is no assessment tool to evaluate how good. So everybody, so many people, so many organizations like higher education institutions now, they claim that they do have efforts of implementing quality 4.0. At least they have a knowledge of quality 4.0 within their institutions. So we wanted to find out how are we going to do this. So we came up with a framework, maturity framework, maturity devices, and maturity levels, meaning how good the knowledge of higher education institution about quality 4.0. So we divided those into 5 levels. The initial quality, level 1, meaning the higher education institution is unsure about adopting quality 4.0 initiatives and quality management requirement. Level 2 is basic quality. Higher education institutions have basic knowledge of how to data transformation or digital transformation and how they need the practices, but they are not aware of new practices and technologies. Level 3 is traditional quality. Higher education institution at this level has the ability to understand and learn more facts and new practices about quality 4.0 initiatives. Level 4 is advanced, so meaning the higher education institution have strategic and planned activities for adopting the concepts or the learnings of quality 4.0. And finally, level 5 is the quality 4.0 level they are well educated on the technology, already have the high level of terms of the integration. They have data sharing, collection, use, and autonomy of those. This is the scale here. Current scale 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and 8 to 10. Maturity level 1, 2, 3, 4. Quality 4.0 level 5. Maturity level takes from 8 to 10. So this is the scale that we used in doing this framework. So again, the framework has 3 components, 3 dimensions: technology, process, and people, and with 11 axes or 11 components. So we came up with this with maturity level for technology, maturity level for process, and maturity level for people, combining all those into the 3 axes, technology axis results, which is containing the 5 components here, these 3 components for the process dimensions. We came up with some results for those, and the same for people dimension. So here, again, the maturity level for each axis and how to measure those right here. And level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in terms of data, we classified or we defined how the data is used in higher education institutions. So in regards to data, again, there is initial, basic, traditional, advanced, and quality 4.0. What kind of practice they do to achieve level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, or level 5. So we examined those for each institution. So we provided the metrics basically that we're using. It is for analytics. We have these 5 levels defined. So if they come up with, for example, the data analysis in higher education institution using descriptive diagnostic procedure for the quality process, we gave them this level 3. And then we provide a score and so on. We got for so many of those.
1 minute.
For the 11 axes or 11 components. So to implement this, we provide a case study. We have to have implementation to validate this model that is presented up there. So we have some questionnaires. Questionnaires basically, we utilized our Qualtrics at UCF, and there was some sections of the questionnaire about demographics, phrase competition, and examples. So this is the example here of how the survey was conducted. So basically, we took, because of the ease to get data, Dr. Al-Zarani and Dr. Haytham, basically, they contacted the different institutions in Saudi Arabia, higher education institutions, 26 of those, 25 public institutions, 5 private institutions. And the motivation for some of you probably aware of the Saudi Vision 2030 for higher education institutions. So we built on this ambition of the Saudi government to provide some basically collaborative, connected learning environment, and we implemented the framework into their institutions. To find out the reliability of the survey instrument, overall reliability is 0.97, which is very good. And this is the distribution of the number of respondents in each university. These are each university and how many people participated in the survey from each university, and so on. This is some demographics. This is distribution categorized by their role, from the head of the department, for example, or the head of the university, to the dean, vice dean, department chair, quality managers, IT managers, and other quality members of institutions. So this was also the distribution in regard to the roles, to the awareness awareness of quality 4.0. Not aware, less, somewhat more fully aware from the participants, and overall average scores. Average score for up to 10, from 1 to 10 for each level. These are the axes or components. These are the 11 ones. These are the 3 dimensions, and overall was 5.29 out of 10, the scale. And then we plot those scales right there. So this is the overall scale quality level for Saudi higher education institutions. So for example, regarding data, they got less than 6, 5 point something regarding analytics, and so on regarding. So this spider diagram will basically for the overall, and then we have for different maturity level for individual level, each of those have, these are all universities right here. And regarding the different maturity levels, we also plot for each individual university, for examples. And this University of Public Administration, Institute of Public Administration, looks like it's has the highest scores so far. And I can understand that. They have more recent graduates. I am familiar with most of their graduates. They have recent graduates graduated from either us or other universities in the US. So they are more familiar with Quality 4.0 than many others. And that's right there, here, maturity level for the 3 of those. And for each dimension, the process dimension, technology dimension, and people dimension, and how they share the knowledge right here. And also, this is for all universities, the 26 institutions, and how they compare to each other. And in terms of table, we have here's a heat map right there to show us who's having good, like I mentioned, Institute for Public Administration. And we have done this for each of the 11 components, or 11 axes: data, analytics, app development, and so on. So you'll show comparative heat map for all of those: collaboration, scalability, management system, compliance, culture, leadership, and competency. This is overall matrix, heat map matrix. So it will tell us what is good, what is bad, what are the best practices, what can we do to each one of those. We did a t-test for the p-values in terms of differences or scores are identical for the null hypotheses. And then we came up, I think I'm probably out of time here.
We're out.
Yes. So the study limitations at that only limited to the thing in Saudi Arabia, and we hope that the knowledge from this framework can be used or can be used as a best practice for other higher education institutions. A lot of information here, and I think I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If anyone has questions for any of the speakers, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. If you enter your questions in the Q&A, I'll read them to the speakers at the end of the session, and then they can be answered. And now I would like to introduce Mr. Anil Sachdev, who will be presenting new trends in quality training. His specialties are TQM, Deming Prize, Six Sigma, Lean Management, New Product Development designed for Six Sigma, Strategy Development and Deployment, and Operational Excellence.
Am I audible?
I can hear you.
Okay. And you can see my slides as well?
Correct, I can see it.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Kamran, for this opportunity to interact with you on this session. I am probably odd man out. I'm not talking about the academic institution. I'm generally talking about the corporate quality trainings. I represent a company called TQMI in India. We do consulting work and training work in the field of quality management. And what happened? This, I think, so. Yeah, no, it's okay. So as Dr. Ishikawa said that QC, the quality control or quality management starts and ends with education. That's a very popular and very powerful statement. And we believe in this, that if the companies have to practice quality management, they have to spend a lot of time and effort in the quality education. Traditionally in India, mostly my presentation will be what I have experienced in India and maybe neighboring countries, but mostly Asia, India part. Most companies in India, they are doing in-house training, which is in-company training for various levels, right from the CEOs and senior executives to down to the worker level or associate level or the frontline employees on different topics, right from quality management to daily work management to statistical control to various tools. And they use both internal and external trainers. There's also external training being planned, which is by sending people to either Japan, especially to Union of Japanese Scientists and Engineers. We have Office of ASQ in India. A lot of people go to ASQ certifications. There are 3-4 consulting companies, especially we are the largest one in India, TQMI, and we get the clients both in the manufacturing and the non-manufacturing, which is the service sector. We also have a lot of conferences happening where there is a lot of, let's say, knowledge sharing, both at India level and international level, where people go from India and participate and learn from those sessions. The Indian companies also have sent study missions to JUSC, good companies within India and outside India to learn from their best practices, which could include the companies which have won either Deming Prize, Malcolm Baldrige Prize, or EFKM, which in India is the called CII Exim Award. Exim is the bank here, Export-Import Bank. They, along with Confederation of Indian Industry, they give this award to Indian companies. So these companies also are used for learning from each other. Now, this trend is going on for last maybe 25, 30 years. I have been involved in this field for about 3 decades now. And what we found is if the education is not correct, if the training is not correct, the fallout, let's say the impact is very, very bad. So we need to ensure that we understand quality control in the right way. So quality of education, quality of training is very important. And the understanding has to be perfect. And again, I'm quoting one statement by Professor Ishikawa, which says the quality control, or as Japanese call quality control, but we call quality management, will fail if everybody misunderstands it. If it will succeed only if everyone understands it properly. Now, this proper understanding requires a lot of experience and actual practical application before we teach the people. Now, coming with the current situation, we find there are 5 key trends which are happening, right from going back to the basics in some companies, to application focus. 3 is shift from tools to business solution. We are not looking for a specific management tool like Six Sigma or Lean. We want to solve our problems. The 4th, upstream process, which is especially the new product planning, new product development. How do we build TQM and quality management concepts there? And 5th, I think I don't have to elaborate because Dr. Ahmad just now explained on this quality 4.0 or data analytics, which is now the talk of the town. So I'm just going to back to the basics. What we find is there are many things, many issues in quality, many issues related to productivity happen because people have forgotten the basics. Now, basic could be as simple as the 5S implementation, accepting abnormalities, not having any daily management control, daily work management, which means the process is not in control, basic understanding of problem solving and basic QC tools, very simple tools like Poka-Yoke or mistake proofing, And many organizations which even win Deming Prize are coming back to this, that people have left, the people who got the Deming Prize have left the organization, they have retired, they have moved to some other companies, so new generation doesn't know it. And slowly there is a, let's say, decline in these initiatives, and they are going back to this basics. But these basics are equally important for our large, micro, small, and medium enterprises, which is still not very deeply touched with the quality management practices. And most of the MSMEs are micro, small, medium enterprises in the country. We are trying to start with the basics. Same is true for the service sector. I'm just coming first to this adaptation to the service sector, where it is still, the TQM concepts are still not fully mature. But the effect is that there is a high cost of poor quality, low value added ratio, which means there is a lot of waste or Buddha in the process. And many of these can be simply corrected by the basics. And I think academic institutions also are realizing that we need to build some basic course for quality. And many of our organizations, especially in engineering and management education colleges, these things are being taught right in the college level, so that we can catch these people their learnings in the early stage only. So when they go to industry, they are familiar with these concepts, these methods and tools. The second, as I said, is we are going to application focus, which I think started when the Six Sigma came into the India in late 90s, early 2000. And what was the realization is that classroom training brings only limited knowledge transfer. And what most companies today we talk about is 70-20-10 model. That means 10% training, actually knowledge transfer happens with the formal training, 20% with the interaction, and remaining 70% with the application on the job. So the basic starting point was when we started the Six Sigma and Lean application. For example, in TQMI, we were partnering with Motla University. We were representing Motla in a way in India. We also did some programs on Lean with them and also with Lean Enterprise Institute of the USA. Both of them relied on the certification-oriented training. That means you learn in the classroom, apply on a project and get certification. Could be a green belt certification, black belt certification, master black belt, lean practitioner, lean implementer. So several certifications happened, but the basic point was that they were looking at better learning and better return on. So the employees got better learning, organization got better return on investment for the learning and development investment. But what happened was it was focusing on a tool. For example, Six Sigma means we were only looking at Six Sigma methods. If you're looking at Lean, we're looking only at Lean. And most people, the focus moved was how quickly I can get my black belt or green belt certification. So challenge is now, after certification, how do we make sure that they continue to contribute to the company? Many people after black belt certification or green belt certification don't continue with the improvement journey, or they're not participating in the improvement projects. So many organizations are now reviewing this structure, that will have certificate validity for 2 years or 3 years, and then within 2 years, you must do one more project if you want to continue your certification process. The third concept, which is catching up very fast, and I think most of our clients are demanding today, this part is that give us this business solution. We are not keen on a particular method or a tool or a approach. You understand our problem and try to come out a business solution, a customized solution, which can help us to solve our problems. So our learning and development efforts should solve the company's problem. Tools and method could be just incidental. I may use one tool in one situation, another tool in another situation. And then, so training is done on the full toolkit, but they use the tool as needed. And here are some examples which I'm just quoting from the companies where we worked with, that we could customize the training as per the problem statement of the company. For example, there is a company which is making optical fibers in India. Most of it is exported outside India, and some is used within India, because India is also in a fast moving in the telecom space where it is get used. Now, company had orders, but they were not able to fulfill because they had a lot of losses in the process. And they said if you can improve the yield by 8%, they can get a additional revenue of about $50 million US, which was huge for them. And we helped them to do this by using a combination. We understood there are problems in machines. So how to do issue was in our autonomous maintenance. A lot of issue of consistency. So how do you use standardization? A lot of waste in the process, including quality issues. So lean and problem solving. So a combination was done, not a single method. Similarly, another company which is making the meat, they take the animal and convert it into exportable meat. Again, 100% export oriented company. They had demand, they had the inputs available, animals are available, export demand is available, but productivity was being low. They were not able to meet the full demand. And we could improve their yield by 25% with a combination of, again, very basic things like 5S, use of lean methods, some quality improvement projects, redesigning of the toolings, for example, the deboning tool, which is very important for cutting the meat, using some good understanding of the process of cutting and using some concept of DFSs. So a combination was again used here. And just to give a contrast in the service sector, we worked with a insurance company, life insurance company, and we could reduce their customer complaint by 50% and time to resolve complaints by almost 80%. And this company, as per the Indian insurance regulator basis, they were number 10 in the private sector ranking in terms of performance. Within 8 months, they actually jumped 6 points, and they were from 10th to 4th point they could move. But the combination had to be done. We had to make a combination of lean, problem solving, and daily management. The challenge areas, we have to focus on learning by application, not specific training. Although we start with this concept of design of training, a content is decided, but that is always refined over a period of time. As we get more insight, the content is refined throughout the application cycle. But the challenge here is people who have experience in problem solving, in understanding the problem condition, coming into the right combination, appropriate combination is the right person required. So we required experienced trainers, just not the classroom trainers, but the trainers who have the ability to also understand the company's context and the problems, the business scenario, and then adopt the solution. The fourth condition is we are moving now to upstream process. A lot of things have happened in the operation area, both in the manufacturing and non-manufacturing companies. But realization is coming is that if the company has to look for future, they have to come with timely launch of the new products, so that we can give more variety to the customer, better features to the customer in our new products, new services which we design. Now, this requires understanding the full chain, customer to customer in case of B2C business, M2M or market to market for B2B business. And each of this step has to be mapped. For example, in our process, we have mapped this 16 phases of the whole entire new product development process, right from opportunity scoping, opportunity studying and scoping the customer's product definition. What is the market, what customer wants, who are the competitor, and what the new product should give as a product performance. Then, of course, comes the detailed designing, right from concept design to detailed design, to use of predictive methods like what can go wrong in FMEA or simulations, modeling, validation, and finally the launch. And of course, there are post-launch activities like sales, marketing support, industry monitoring, and so on, till product is exited from the system. So this phase 1 to phase 11 is where I think today we are focusing in many organizations, that how do we make sure that we are able to come quick products which are very easy to absorb in the market, which are successful both technically in terms of performance and also commercially to give the right kind of revenue and profitability to the company. And supporting this particular methods is a list of tools. Again, this, I'm not saying this is a complete list, this is just an indicative list given here. We cover many, many tools in this journey, in this process of the companies. And initially this was limited to automotive sector, but now we have clients in all the sectors, including auto components, the white goods industry, the electronic industry, and also now service companies like telecom sector, insurance companies that come and request us to come with the new products which have used all kinds of tools. Now, this toolkit is a big toolkit, starting with even product definition, survey designing, Kano model for attractive quality, quality function deployment, TRIZ, which is a Russian tool, book metrics, FMEA is used extensively. In manufacturing, we're also using effectively the design for manufacturability, design for assembly, design for service, and many more tools, including reliability evaluation, which are there in this list. And again, I said it's not the full list, it's just an illustrative list I'm giving here. And every company doesn't start with every tool which is explained here. We go step by step in the process. The last part is every company is today looking at the power of the IT and data analytics, IoT, whatever name you give, quality 4.0. So where we are saying that how do we move from descriptive analytics to diagnostic? For example, what happened is the descriptive. Diagnosis is why did it happen? Why did this happen? Then predictive has two parts: foresight, what will happen, and insight, how will make sure that it will continue to happen? How do we do that it happens as per our requirement? And cognitive analytic is why did I know? How can I see a 360-degree situation so I can take the right decision, right action, right now in the right context? So this is how the data analytics and quality 4.0 is evolving in the companies, from data to information to optimization. And there is some example which I don't have to read right now. So in data analytics, we're talking about the 5 key elements. One is how do we have the data storage and management so that we can access the data quickly and reliably during the analysis whenever we need it. How do we make data cleaning? If you have too much of information, which is the really data we are looking for? Having too much data also becomes a challenge. So we need to make a manageable data set, clean the data which is not giving value, which are outliers and so on, where data is not complete. Explore the data using the hypothesis testing, making intuition about the process. And of course, then comes the prediction. I think that's where the most of the power of data analytics is coming, is that how do we predict what's going to happen? And we have various tools such as regressions, correlation regression, classification, clustering, forecasting, and many more optimization tools which are there as part of this system. And lastly, of course, we need to communicate the result to the management in a very simple, easy to understand pictures and visuals so that decision can be taken in a simple manner. So how do we make stories? How do we make the data visualization? How do we make interpretation summaries? So management can act on those decisions based on this analysis. Most companies have a lot of data, but how do we come data into information and then use it for making decisions? That's the whole challenge. And to support this, we have come out with this many programs, right from data science overview to Python, basics for data science. A lot of companies are looking for this as the starting point, visualization of data. Of course, descriptive analytics and machine learning, both supervised and unsupervised, text mining, and then of course, going up to deep learning and the artificial intelligence. So this many modules is done by our organization. There are many more organizations in India who are running this particular type of approaches. And just to conclude now, I'll not take much time, just to conclude. What we have found is the basic principle of quality management remains the same. Tools and methods keep evolving. For example, nobody talked data analytics maybe, let's say 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. And nobody even talked so much on new product development about 10 years ago, but there is a lot of talk about the new product development today. The second is we need, people get trapped on the flavor of the month. Other companies doing Six Sigma, so let me also do Six Sigma. My competitor is doing lean, so let me also do lean. We should avoid this trap. You have to find what is useful for your company. Each company has to decide what is the problem, what problem you want to address. And then, as I said, make a customized solution rather than going by a special tool or a special approach. As I said, remember, the objective is to solve a problem, not to go over Six Sigma or lean or TQM or something. And over a period of time, I realized these two will be the major focus in the coming time. How do we customize business solution for the companies? And how do we use the power of data? And data also includes today not just the numerical data, but also the language and verbatim data, even visuals, videos, and all kinds of data which is used. How do we analyze and come to the right conclusion? So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.